morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the first World Pack Talk Show of 2023. And today, I have a question for you. What do you know about COP27, the climate summit that happened in the end of 2022 in Egypt? And another question, what are the impacts of COP27 in the packaging industry? My name is Lilian Benzi. I am WPO Press and Communication Officer, and I have the pleasure and the honor of interviewing today my WPO colleague, Aslihan Arikan, that is the General Secretary of the Turkish Packaging Association. She is also the former president of the Asian Packaging Federation, but she is still in the business because she is part of the executive team of the Asian Packaging Federation. And of course, she was the former VP of Education in WPO. Aslihan, welcome. It's really a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you, Lilian, and dear colleagues of WPO. Thank you for the invitation. I am honored to join you today for the first World Pack Talk Show of 2023. Thank you.
Yeah, so let's go to the business and let's go to the news. Aslihan, what were the main messages that COP27 sent to the packaging community?
Thank you again. As you mentioned, I participated COP27 in November. That event is the United Nations Climate Change Conference of the Parties. I attended this conference with the Turkish delegation, which was organized by the Ministry of Environment, Urbanization and Climate Change in Turkey. I was also the moderator of the stakeholder engagement session, and I gave a speech about sustainability roadmap of our packaging industry. So after this introduction, let me answer your first question. In COP27, everything was very different because COP27 was heavily influenced by the immediate political necessities of energy security and affordability. Climate change is a global crisis, and on the other hand, climate change is competing with other global crises, from inflation and energy shortages of the rising cost of capital. Regarding financing, there is not enough money is going to right sectors of the economy to build the new technologies of the future and kick the fossil-based raw materials like petroleum and natural gas and petrochemical products. World population is increasing so fast. Now it is announced that 8 billion people is living on Earth, and it is estimated by 2050 there will be average 9 billion people living on our planet. And we are living in oil and natural gas population era, which means we are very dependent on those resources. And as population increases, the amount of those fossil raw material usage is increasing. And there will be not enough raw material or resources in the future. And regarding packaging industry relation, we can say that we are consuming a lot of raw materials today, and it will be increased in the future. And the current economic model will be useless in the future, which is the linear economy. We have to embrace the circular economy model which is simply defined as make, use, and recycle. For our industry, the waste hierarchy is very important, and the new hierarchy will be reduce, reuse, and recycle. So hierarchy means the most favorite option to the least favorite option, for fitting the circular economy. So for the packaging industry, I can conclude that the main conclusion or outcome is the approach of circular economy regarding climate change issues and COP27.
Okay, but Aslihan, do you think that the packaging industry is aware of these challenges, or how can we begin an educational process, or this process has already begun?
Okay, packaging industry actually is aware of everything, I think, because packaging is used in every industry. And as an example, let me give an example from COP27, because the delegates in the COP27, delegates meaning everyone around the world. And they recognize the priority of safeguarding food security and ending hunger. So proper or suitable packaging is very critical regarding sustainable food systems, as we always claim as WPO as well. So food safety, food security will be much more important in the future. I think everyone, including manufacturers, suppliers, or designers, or consumers, should be aware about packaging and its impact on environment. Everyone aware of that. For example, consumers concerned about the litter in the oceans. We listened this in COP27, and over-packaging or waste management problems, issues. And we need to educate everyone, not only consumers, but also the manufacturers and suppliers, because we all know that under-packaging is dangerous. We don't want underpacked products, because we will waste materials like food or our resources. But over-packaging is not good because we want to save resources. And there should be an optimization point between food waste and packaging, and all about communication and education, of course. All are related with education. And as I told you in the beginning, we have to move to more circular economy. And we have to reduce, recycle, and we have to understand the current situation and explain the current situation to everyone regarding importance of the packaging, but minimizing the packaging. And packaging is very critical because it is the part of our modern lifestyle. Without packaging, we cannot live like that. There should be another era. And also one more point. The current emissions are mostly result from our energy needs, like the fuel in our cars or the electricity that we are very dependent on every second. We can't live without electricity today. But the remaining 50% is generated by the manufacturing operations. So how we reach the zero emissions or carbon neutral position in 2050, we have to convert all this energy need in manufacturing industry to the circular economy. So we are very at the very beginning level, and we have to improve this, develop this model with everyone, let me say.
And as you mentioned in your first answer, there is also a problem of shortage in raw material for the packaging industry. So considering you are a packaging expertise, you know a lot about packaging and of course about sustainability. Do you think this can be an opportunity to the packaging industry to develop new material, new sources, new ways of producing?
Yes, of course. It will be a new era, and I think for this regarding raw materials shortage and idea of circular economy, packaging industry can be more adaptable than other industries like textile or automotive or construction industries, because to manage those wastes more different than to manage packaging waste. I believe that. And also there is an important issue. After COP27, European Commission announced two separate draft regulation, one regulation and also one framework, let me say. One regulation is about packaging and packaging waste regulation. They published this draft 2 weeks later, the COP27, and they are aiming to reduce packaging waste, to boost reuse of packaging, and to make all packaging recyclable by 2030, and to reduce fossil resources by using recycled plastics, for example. And also there will be mandatory recycling labeling on packaging. So all these show us it should be also mandatory. I mean, we have to create something very, very useful and sustainable, of course, for packaging industry. As an expert, what I'm doing, I am trying to follow those new developments, and I'm trying to explain the importance of packaging for example, affordable food supply chain. And I am trying to do when I find a chance. As an opportunity, yes, it's an opportunity because a packaging industry can be easily adaptable to those changes. Because there is something already established, like packaging, recovery systems around the world. So I think circular economy will be very effective for packaging industry, and that they will be more active in this new system. And recycling is very important for our industry, and we can say it is the last line of the defense, of the packaging industry. And we will, if we do recycling, we will also reduce our energy consumption, raw material usage, and carbon dioxide emissions. The critical point is to reduce carbon dioxide emissions, and by recycling, we can do this. Also, there is a new trade agreement, as you follow, European Green Deal agreement. It is also mandatory agreement, and if you want to do trade with Europe around the world, we have to obey the rules of European Green Deal agreement, and it is also stating the importance of circular economy, and it is stating the circular economy targets. So Yes, it is a challenging situation, but I believe packaging will adapt to this new trade cycle because there will be packaging in the future as well. So it is also a critical tool for logistics operations as well.
So, Aslihan, the Turkish Packaging Association is very lucky to have you guiding your members. Now, if you could give an advice to WPO members, how do you think they have to address all this content, all these challenges to their members, and how WPO can help in this context?
Yes, thank you. Before answering this question, I want to also talk about the Sustainable Development Goals because it is very important. And in COP27, we all talk about SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And there are many goals, 17 main goals, United Nations sets these goals in 2015, and those goals are intended to be achieved by 2030. So we don't have much time. We only have 7 years to achieve those goals. And packaging manufacturers and other manufacturers should follow those goals and address their goals for 2030, 2040. Regarding our industry, the goal number 12, which is responsible consumption and production, is very important goal. And of course, number 9, which is industry, innovation, and infrastructure, is another important goal. And of course, other goals. There are some other goals as well, but those 2 goals are very important for our industries. And we have to accelerate our sustainability commitments for 2030, 2040 by addressing those goals. And for a packaging industry specifically, there is also another important item, important approach, which is new plastic economy, because packaging, half of packaging volume in the world is plastics, and new plastics economy is very important for packaging industry. It is stated by Ellen MacArthur Foundation many years ago. And the main conclusion from that approach is to convert all the production lines based on raw material efficiency and circular economy, and to use less raw materials, for this to renew the design of the product, packaging design, and especially using monomaterials or manufacturing monomaterials is very important, because if it's a monomaterial, then it can be easily recyclable material. So packaging manufactured from monomaterials becomes very important, which means we have to avoid composite materials. And biodegradables, compostables are very good alternatives for the plastics, conventional plastics. But unfortunately, there is not enough supply for biodegradables. So we can conclude that petrochemicals, originated raw materials will be used in the future as well. And for our perspective, environmental friendly material is meaning increase in recycled content. That's the final point. Industry should focus on monomaterials, and we have to support recycling operations. We have to use only recyclable raw materials. So those are the main results or final results for the switching the circular economy.
Perfect. So, is it correct to say, Aslihan, that WPO, for example, can help in these challenges, help their its members, and our members can help their members through education about sustainability, about circular economy? Is it correct to say that education can be the bridge to all those challenges?
Yes, of course. Education is very important. On the other hand, it doesn't matter whether consumer or citizens of the world can understand and know very well about sustainability. It doesn't matter. We have to do this. I mean, we have to educate people, okay, but also we have to take measures and to switch the circular economy model, and we have to also improve our production lines to the new economy model, because it is not easy to do everything globally today. You know, we have to do in a closed system. We have to do in our countries by ourselves, because there will be not enough materials in the future, and also the new trade cycle is not easy as in the past now, because of the logistics issues. You know, we lived in a pandemic era for a couple of years. We stayed at home, we used packaging, we shopped online, and everything was arrived to our homes with packaging. So over packaging issue is also problem for e-commerce operations. So we have to rethink, redesign those packaging as well. Education is very critical. We need to educate people around the world, but plus we have to take some actions and redesign, use packaging very properly, because we want to save our world. There is only one world.
Exactly. And so, Aslihan, considering all you saw, all you heard, all you learned from COP27, what is your final message to WPO members, and to the audience, to the packaging industry?
Yes, thank you again. What I saw, problems are very common in every country. Problems are very common, but of course there should be some main messages in the level of for the policies. I mean, the governments of the world, let me say, should take some decisions and start to apply those decisions in their countries, with their neighbors, and then in the world together. So it is a common problem. Climate change is a common problem, and developed ones should support undeveloped economies. This is also another issue. And waste problem is very common. To avoid waste, we have to reduce material consumption. And packaging and logistics will be the key industries in the future. So we will use those materials, but we have to find to manufacture sustainable packaging. And as a final comment, we have to explain the consumers to use sustainable packaging, and we have to explain them or train them about using sustainable packaging as well. So It means use the recycled content packaging as a solution.
Wow, Aslihan, thanks so much for your contribution today. In all the literature that I read about COP27, and considering the incredible concepts that you brought here today about COP27 and about sustainability and packaging, I would say that COP27 was the COP of implementation, with the goal of putting plans in action to address the climate crisis. The shift in focus from ambition to action is urgent, and it is time to do more and to do quickly, as you said. And the rapid reduction of greenhouse gas emissions needs to start in order to avoid global temperatures rising beyond dangerous levels. So packaging, definitely, as you mentioned now in the end, packaging and logistics have an important role in this equation. So I invite the global packaging industry, and I count on you, Aslihan, to help us to go together, to get together, to find solutions, and more important, to do it, to act. So thank you again, Aslihan. It was really amazing. Thanks for the audience today. And I hope to see you soon in another World Pack Talk show. And a great sustainable 2023 for all of us. Thank you so much, Aslihan.
Thank you, Lilium, having me today as the first guest of the World Pack Talk Show in 2023. Thank you, and happily to contribute more for the future activities for sustainable development and sustainable packaging. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. See you in another World Pack Talk Show.